filed a notice of tender payment. I'm challenging the jurisdiction.
Actually, that's not correct. The file indicates that you submitted an affidavit of poverty.
On the order, it did not specify how to pay.
Ma'am, your obligation. Mr. Friel, please
ma'am, I need to finish what I have to say. You cannot make a ruling over something that you don't know.
I'm sorry, Ms. Ballard.
You cannot make a ruling over something you can't know. You saying you don't know is an unacceptable response.
All right, guys, this one is wild from the jump. So we've got a sovereign citizen in court refusing to pay her landlord rent. Yep, she pulled out every trick in the book, fake documents, made up legal jargon, the whole sovereign citizen playbook. And the judge snaps. It all erupts into a total meltdown. And honestly, this one's both hilarious and insane from beginning to end. Let me know in the comments, should sovereign citizen money be accepted as rent? I need to hear what you guys think about this madness. All right, let's dive in and watch the chaos unfold.
Ballard, I'm not going to call your case formally right now. Right now, what I'm looking for is how long do you think that it will take to present what you want to present to the court today?
To my understanding, has the court reviewed the affidavits that has been submitted?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Okay, so what can I expect as far as procedure? How will this hearing go?
Well, so typically what will happen, because you are the movement, you're the person who's seeking relief. So I would call on you to make any presentation that you would want to make. Sometimes people choose to do that. Some people don't choose to do that. But the idea is that if you wanted to explain to me what your position is in some shorter or different way from how you put it in the filings that you made, and then I would call on Ms. Akpati on behalf of her client to make a response. And then typically, because you're the movement, I would let you have the last word. And then sometimes I rule during the hearing. Sometimes I take it under advisement. It just depends on the circumstances. But if you wanted to make a presentation to outline verbally for me what you believe are the important issues, how long would that take?
I'm not sure. To my understanding, with this hearing, I was under the understanding that the affidavits that have been presented are fully understood, and that based on what I have submitted, that there would be a proper decision and ruling.
Okay. So I'm interpreting that, Ms. Ballard, as you wanting to rest on the materials that you've sent, and that's perfectly fine. Ms. Akpati, what presentation, if any, did you intend to make? I'm just trying to get a time idea of how long this might take.
5 minutes, y'all.
Okay.
From my position, I filed an affidavit of priority interest in the property. I don't understand how we can be at this point when I'm not a tenant and there's no contract for being a tenant. The other party, the opposing party, says that they have interest in the property, saying that they have a sheriff's deed, which is what it's a color of title. It's not the title. There's no position of equity with that sheriff's deed. So to my understanding, with there not being a contract, and I'm challenging the jurisdiction of this other entity, I'm requesting that this motion under the titles, under the Rule 60B, this is thrown out. It just, we don't have a contract. There's nothing to really argue here. So, it's clearly displayed and stated in the affidavits that I submitted. And bottom line, we don't have a contract. The other entity does not own this property.
So let me get this straight. Her logic is basically, we're on free land, and since she's a sovereign citizen, she doesn't accept any U.S. contracts. Girl, that sounds like you read one Reddit post and decided it was gospel. These people really act like being born in America is a personal insult. Like, ma'am, you're literally in a courtroom built by the government, on roads paved by the government, drinking water filtered by the government. If I were the judge, I'd honestly just sentence her to exile. Send her to a remote island with no Wi-Fi and no mirrors, so she can't keep talking to herself about being a free woman. Actually, let's just make a whole island for sovereign citizens. No laws, no taxes, just chaos. And
Um,
I have priority interests and equity in this property.
okay. Thank you, Ms. Ballard. As I said, I have had a chance to review the magistrate court file and the um, appeal materials that you filed in this case. One question I did have, Ms. Ballard, is that um, part of the part of the order that was entered against you, which you are challenging here, right? That the magistrate judge's the purpose of this action is because the magistrate judge entered an order that said that you were not entitled to possession, and that um, and you're challenging that order. And I understand that part. But part of the order also requires that for you to challenge it, you're required to make some payment into the registry of the court. And my looking at the system, I don't see that any payments have been made. I think that that's part of Ms. Akpati's argument in a brief that she filed a couple of days ago, that you have not made a payment into the registry of the court to preserve your appeal rights. Can you tell me about that? If you have made a payment and maybe I just don't have it in my system, or if you haven't made a payment, can you tell me the basis for that?
I have. They did not ask for rent. They didn't put an affidavit to ask for rent. So, and there's no contract. But I have paid into the court of registry. The paperwork is there.
Can you tell me how much you paid into the court registry?
All of it. It's on a continuous basis until this matter is resolved. The last month and the remaining balance, everything is in compliance with the order from Magistrate Judge Brooks.
Ms. Akpati?
Your Honor, just to get straight to the point, no payment has been made. I did call the court this morning, and there has been no payment made. So if Ms. Ballard is saying that she has made the payment, could she provide to the court some form of evidence showing that she's made the payment? Because again, as of 15 minutes ago, no payment has been made, or the court is not aware of any payment being made.
Yeah, I have looked in both the magistrate court file, which is often where those payments will go, and I've looked in this action. And the financial documents don't indicate that any payment has been made in either case, other than the original, I think, $103 filing fee that was paid by the defendant in the magistrate court. I don't see anything that indicates payment. I'm happy to follow up with the court because sometimes the clerk gets a little bit behind, but do you have any documentation regarding when you made those payments or the amount of the payment?
It was a couple weeks ago when I filed it into the court of registry.
Okay, what did you file? Did you file like a proof of payment, or what did you file?
It is basically
now she's trying to pass off some kind of money order. Or should I say, basically a money order. Because let's be real, if she'd handed over a legit one, we wouldn't be here, would we? This lady thinks she's uncovered a secret legal cheat code like it's GTA, ma'am. You can't pay rent with a crayon drawing that says legalized sovereign citizen bucks. I bet she scribbled it on a notebook, signed it with glitter, glue, and said, "This is backed by my natural-born rights." Imagine handing that to your landlord and expecting them to say, "Yep, looks good." The confidence, those zero out full send. You almost gotta admire the delusion. But girl, this ain't Monopoly. Just because you called it currency doesn't mean it is.
Guys, I need to take a brief break for something. Hold on just one moment. Okay, Ms. Akpati and Ms. Ballard, I apologize for that brief interruption. Okay, so where we are right now procedurally is that there is a dispossessory order that was entered by Judge Brooks on December the 7th. Respectfully, Ms. Ballard, I don't. If you can provide me with some documentation of the payment, I'm happy to pursue that with the clerk of court and find out if there is some issue with it being credited to the wrong file, or something like that. But absent any such documentation, there's no evidence that the required payment has been made.
So I tendered a payment into the court of registry. If my payment was not accepted, I would not have received a case number for this order to get a new case number for this appeal.
Ms. Ballard, I understand that. All I'm asking is, can you tell me what was the amount? When was the payment? Where did you get the money order from? That's the type of information that I would then be able to go to the clerk. The file indicates that you submitted an affidavit of poverty, and that poverty affidavit was granted for the filing fee. So you didn't have to pay a filing fee to be able to open this case.
Respectfully, I
Yes,
tendered a payment in the magistrate court.
right.
Otherwise,
I'm not questioning, Miss Ballard, that you did. What I'm saying is I need some documentation of that payment, because there's no such payment reflected in the magistrate court. And so if you have a receipt, if you have a copy of the money order, if you have even a bank transaction indicating where you withdrew that money from, or where you obtained the money order, that would be some information that I could then go to the clerk and say, hey, I've got a party telling me that they made a payment and there's no record of it. Can you help me find this payment and why there's no record of it?
according to law, I tendered the payment, and I don't know if there's some type of mix up between both courts, but I filed it in both courts. The tender payment is there respectfully. Otherwise, I would not have been able, they even said this has to be satisfied in order to get a new case number for this appeal.
Ms. Ballard, I understand that. All I'm asking is, can you tell me what was the amount? When was the payment? Where did you get the money order from? That's the type of information that I would then be able to go to the clerk and confirm that information. And then they might be able to track the payment and figure out where it went if you made the payment.
All right, can you hold one moment while
Sure.
I get the information? Thank you kindly. Yes, so let me just turn on my camera real quick. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
I filed a notice of tender payment into the court, and
So apparently this magical piece of paper is some form of tender payment, a classic fake financial method. Sovereign citizens love to use when they owe money. It's not real. It's basically like saying, I paid with good vibes, and hoping that holds up in court. They think if they phrase it just right and stamp it with a made-up seal, the debt disappears. But spoiler alert, that's not how courts work. They pull this move all the time thinking it's a loophole, but it's never worked. Not once. All it really gets them is another court date and a whole lot of wasted time. Honestly though, if it did work, I'd be printing my own rent checks too.
and I'm sure you can see the affidavit in there, and it has proper endorsement. It's been properly endorsed, and if you like, I mean, I
Ms.
can.
Ballard, can you tell me the case number on that? Is it this case number 2023 CV 390-111, or is it the 23 ED 284-322 case number?
It's 23 ED 284-322.
Okay. Give me a moment to look in the file and see what I can locate. Okay. Give me just a second.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your patience as I've sort of worked through this. Ms. Ballard, Ms. Akpati. I was able to locate the filing that that Ms. Ballard was referencing, which is a notice of tender of payment to settle and close account.
Yes.
And is that the thing you were referencing, Ms. Ballard?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That was filed. It was filed in the magistrate court on December the 12th.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. My review of the notice that you filed. So first of all, I've spoken with the clerk of court, and they have no record of any payment. They have looked everywhere they can think of, including associated with your name, associated with this case, associated with the Superior Court case, and they can find no record of payment. But more importantly, Ms. Ballard, my review of your filing seems to indicate that you are rejecting the acknowledgement that there is that money would be any like it doesn't appear that you actually submitted legal tender of any sort to pay or satisfy this. You instead submitted some sort of signed, I know, some sort of authorized representative document, but no money order, no check, which I don't think they take, no cash, no certified check, anything like that. Is that an accurate statement? Am I correctly understanding what you filed, Ms. Ballard?
I filed a tender payment, and it didn't. I mean, the law says that I can tender a payment. It never stated how to pay it. So, I mean, I did. I fulfilled the contract based on the order. I mean,
Ms. Akpati, other than the motion that you filed regarding the lack of payment and your statements here that there has not been a payment, what is your position on behalf of your client on this matter?
Our position is that this matter should be dismissed. The Ms. Ballard has to comply with the order of the court before filing this appeal.
And so I have reviewed what you filed now that I understand what I was supposed to be looking at. And, due respect, ma'am, but it is not filing a paper that says I hereby tender payment that is not actually accompanied by a payment recognizable in legal acceptable tender in the United States. Then you have not made a payment under any legal definition that I am aware of. And so as a result of that,
what species?
Oh no. Here we go, she's busting out the random UCC codes like that's going to erase her rent. You already know it's about to get real dumb when they start quoting laws they barely understand. Just pay the rent. Or find a cheaper place. It's not rocket science. It's crazy how much effort they'll put into avoiding responsibility. Fake documents, misusing legal terms, and pretending they're above the law. And that's what makes them kind of dangerous, because they really believe they're untouchable. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments, because this one is next level nonsense.
I mean, on the order, it did not specify how to pay. What species of payment is on there to pay. It was not specific.
I'm sorry, are you saying it wasn't specific in amount or it wasn't specific in method?
In method, yes.
Okay. I disagree. This is a standard order, and the vast majority of everyone I've ever dealt with that deals with these orders understands that when it says tenant must, in capital letters, make the following payments into the court registry by the time specified, everyone understands that I've typically dealt with that means money that is recognizable as legal tender in the United States, which would either be cash or a money order or a certified check. And in the absence of those things being paid, then the court wouldn't have any choice but to dismiss the appeal. And so
I gave you a bill of exchange, which is the same thing.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
I gave you a bill of exchange, which is the same thing.
No, ma'am, it's not. A bill of exchange is not recognized as legal tender in the United States, and therefore it would not satisfy the requirement that tenant must make the following payment into the court registry.
Will you be so kind to confirm under what law?
For that reason, I am dismissing case number.
I mean, ma'am, I object. I object. I mean, it's there. Under what law does it say that it is not a legal payment, a legal tender?
So, in all honesty, I don't know the answer. I could do some research and find the answer. But Ms. Ballard, it's your obligation as the movement to provide the information that the court requires in order to understand your case, to accept your case. And you have not provided me, more importantly, with any documentation or a legal citation that would provide me with some sort of basis to accept your providing me with this note of exchange as legal tender. As I said, my understanding of the law is that a note of exchange is not legal tender recognized in the United States, and therefore it does not constitute a payment.
You have not provided me an answer, but under what law?
Yes, ma'am, I did. The answer I gave you was that it was your obligation. Mr. Freehold, please mute
ma'am,
Ms.
I need
Ballard
to
if
finish
she's
what
gonna
I have to
continue speak over me.
say.
Mr. Freehold, please mute Ms. Ballard if she's going to continue to speak over me. Thank you. Ms. Ballard, you've been muted because you continue to speak over me, which is disrespectful to the court.
I'm not trying to be respectful.
Ms. Ballard,
and not properly.
You are
giving
continuing to
process
speak, and Ms. Ballard, stop. I understand that you do not like the outcome. I understand that you believe that that legal tender or notice of exchange that you gave me should count, but it does not. The answer to this question is that the order that was entered says that tenant must make the following payments into the court registry, and there were no payments made into the court registry, and the filing that you submitted does not constitute a payment of legal tender into the court registry and does not constitute compliance with the order that you make a payment into the court registry. And therefore, the case is going to be dismissed. Case number 2023 CV 390111 will be dismissed for lack of payment. Anything else that the parties need? Ms. Ballard, you may pursue whatever appellate rights you wish to pursue.
You cannot make a ruling over something that you don't know.
I'm sorry, Ms. Ballard?
You cannot make a ruling over something you can't know. You saying you don't know is an unacceptable response. Respectfully.
Ms. Ballard, as I said, my answer was, if you would like to direct me to case law that says that what you submitted is legal.
Well. Shocker, the fake tender didn't work. So to all the sovereign citizens watching this right now, take notes. But let's be really then, if you are watching, I already know you're still going to try to pay your phone bill with something that says lawful gold-backed promise. Note, what really stood out to me was how the judge handled it calm professional and didn't let the nonsense derail the court. A lot of judges waste time indulging this stuff, but not this one. She shut it down. And while it's all fun and games to watch from the outside, the reality is this wastes so much court time over laws that are crystal clear. If you owe money, you pay with legal tender, not with vibes, not with glitter, and definitely not with a note signed by your strawman self. Let me know what you guys think about this train wreck in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more wild courtroom moments like this. Thanks for watching, stay sane out there.